guys, my name is Andy, and today we're going to work on passage number 5 of the reading section of the third practice SAT test on the CollegeBoard website. Alright, let's begin. Number 42, how do the words can, may, and could in the third paragraph help establish the tone of the paragraph? Alright, let's see what the third paragraph says. It was can, may, and could. Can be viral, may be due, may. Okay. So this part, it's like, it's before the author actually knows that this is true, right? It says the author suspects that this is happening. So the author talks about this hypothesis and how he can test it, but he doesn't really test it. Like it's just his description of his experiment. So it's not anything optimistic. It's not dubious. Like the author, it's not that the author doesn't know about his topic, and the author isn't critical. The words aren't critical towards the author, so it has to be C. The author suspects that his hypothesis is correct, but he doesn't know for sure. Number 43, in line 42, the author states that a certain hypothesis can best be tested by trial. What's the hypothesis the author suggested? Alright, it's one of these connected questions, so you can just look at the sentence, look at the evidence here, and see if it answers number 43. Lines 3 to 5, that's not a hypothesis. 16 to 18, in fact, the human might, no, that just talks about humans and how you can treat their mite infections. 19 to 21, we suspect that the bees of commercial bee colonies which are fed monocrops are nutritionally deficient. And 24 to 28 is, without at least intermediate bee colonies are susceptible to mite infestations, which can become fatal either directly or due to secondary infection of immunocompromised or nutritionally deficient bees. The question asked follows the hypothesis the author suggests be tested in the trial. So the trial is controlling the food that the bees eat and controlling whether they get mites or not. So it has to be this one. This one's like, we're gonna see what they're eating, and we're gonna check what mites they're getting. So we know that's D, and D is connected to. It's not about humans. This just talks about single crops and insecticides. No, this is incorrect. The answer is C. Number 45, the passage most strongly suggests that the beekeeper's attempts to fight mite infestations with commercially produced insecticides have what unintentional effect. This one is also one of those connected questions. So 1 to 2 has nothing to do with pesticides. 6 to 7 also does not. 31 to 35 does. And 31 to 35 is connected with further harm. Number 47, as used in line 35, postulate most nearly means to. Or line 35 says, we further postulate that the proper doses are necessary. So it's like, the author's making a hypothesis, I guess. So it's not making an unfounded assumption. That just makes it sound negative, and this isn't anything negative. The author doesn't question the belief or theory. The author doesn't conclude because the author doesn't have firm evidence. So it has to be B. Put forth an idea or claim that's basically making a hypothesis. Number 48, the main purpose of the fourth paragraph is to this part, okay. I think this part just talks about how the hypothesis can be tested, like what's the experiment going to look like. So it's there hasn't been an experiment yet, so it's proposed an experiment. That's why this one's correct. Number 49, an unstated assumption made by the authors about clover is that the plants do not produce. Yeah, because the author's like, oh, we can either give them clover or we can either give them something that does produce this thing. Number 50, based on the data in the table, which percent of the colonies with CCD were the honeybees infected by all 4 pathogens? With CCD, all 4, that's 77. So the answer is B. Which of the 4 pathogens affected by the highest percentage of honeybee colonies without colony collapse disorder? Without, I think it's Nosema cernae. Yeah, it's D. Do the data in the table provide support for the author's claim that infection with varroa mites increases the honeybee susceptibility to secondary infections? I'm gonna say it doesn't because the chart doesn't say anything about the mites. It just says whether the colony collapsed and whether the viruses or fungi had any part of it. But the question asks for infection with the mites. The mites, this part doesn't have anything to do with mites. So I'm gonna say it's D. Alright, that's it for the reading section. Okay, thank you for watching my video. On my next video, I'll be working on the first passage of the writing section.